Hey guys, my name is Bijan from Product Management Exercises, and today I'm going to tell you how to answer a product design, or as some of us call it, a product sense question in a PM job interview. A product design question helps the interviewer see if you can discover the user's pain points and address them with practical and creative ideas that you're going to use to build your product. Here's how to answer a product design question. Step 1. Clarify the scope of the question. This is where you can ask some clarifying questions or state the assumptions that you're going to make to answer the question. Who are you building for? What platform are you building on? Is there any particular user group that you have to keep in mind when you're building the product? The interviewer will either answer some of the questions that you might have, or if they don't, you can make certain assumptions. Let's say that you're asked to design an app for the DMV. You want to know if they're referring to a web app, a mobile app, or a Facebook app. And if you ask the interviewer and they don't answer, you can say, I'm going to pick a mobile app because I think that we already have a web app and mobile is where things are going. You can use this chance to also set a goal for your product. So in the case of the DMV example, you can say that you'd like to reduce the time that people spend at a DMV office. Step 2. Select one particular user group. Here you want to show your skills in identifying different user groups for your product that you're building and thinking strategically about the particular user group that you're going to focus on. So for the DMV example, there are different user groups that come to mind. There are the citizens that come to a DMV office and have questions about their driver's license or their car certificate. Or there are the DMV agents that represent the DMV in a DMV office. Or there are the DMV officers that are helping enforce the DMV laws and penalize you or fine you if you break the laws. After listing the user groups, explain why you're going to choose one particular user group of the others. And this is really going to help you narrow down the scope of your question further. So for the DMV app, you can say that you'd like to go with the citizens group because they're the largest and they're going to benefit from your goal more than all the other user groups. Step 3, list the user needs associated with that particular user group. This is where you're going to list the user needs and prioritize them according to some evaluation criteria that you're going to come up with. And it's totally okay to ask the interviewer if you can take a minute or two to organize your thoughts and come up with some pain points associated with user groups. So in this particular DMV example, let's say that when a citizen visits a location, they have to pick a card and wait in the lineup until their name is called. Or when it's their turn to speak to an agent, they might realize that, hey, I forgot to bring some documents and therefore I have to come back in another time. Or when they actually submit the documents, they realize that it's going to take them a few days to actually receive the final documents, such as the updated driver's license. And they also have to pay for their order through a credit card when they visit a location, which could be a painful experience because it takes a few minutes to actually do. So a common mistake here is that you're mixing problems with solutions. So it's very important to stay really focused on pain points and not get into solutioning or providing solutions on how to address some of these problems. Now let's look at the next step. Step 4, prioritize the user needs. This is very important. You want to make sure that you're able to prioritize them based on some meaningful attributes. Some examples that come to mind are impact to the user, revenue potential, or the level of effort that it's going to take to actually address those pain points. So in the case of the DMV example, let's say that we did our evaluation, we prioritized taking a number, realizing that you're missing some documents, and finding out at the time of visit that, hey, it's going to take you a few days to actually receive the final updated documents. Next step, step 5, list the solutions associated with those user needs. Now that you know what problems you want to solve, you want to come up with a few solutions that are going to help solve those problems. So here again, it's okay to ask the interviewer if you can take a minute or two to organize your thoughts, brainstorm some ideas, and then showcase your ability to actually think of creative solutions to address them. Some things to keep in mind here is that you have to come up with a combination of creative and practical solutions. And it's okay if some ideas are wild because you're going to prioritize them later. So let's say that you've come up with some solutions for the citizens. Let's say that you've thought of allowing the users to take their tickets through the mobile app before visiting, basically reserving their spot. Or you're going to allow the users to select the purpose of their visit so that they can actually view the list of required documents on the mobile app. And you can also allow them to even submit their documents. That could be another solution that you can offer to them so that they can actually submit their documents online. Another idea could be that you can present to them how long it takes them to actually receive the updated driver's license if they selected that particular scenario. Or enable them to actually pick up their driver's license when they actually visit the store if they've submitted everything ahead of time. Now, step 6 is where you actually evaluate your solutions based on some criteria such as the impact to the user and implementation costs and prioritizing your solutions. This is where you showcase your ability to deal with multiple priorities and still ship your product. So for example, I would explain to the interviewer in the case of the DMV example that I'd like to prioritize getting a ticket, presenting required documents to the user, and also providing estimated delivery time because they add a lot of value to the user and they're much simpler than in terms of implementation than the other solutions of submitting documents online and picking up driver's licenses at a DMV office. The other two solutions require a lot of process changes from the DMV office, which is harder to do. Step 7 is where you describe in more detail what you're actually going to build. So in the case of the DMV example, you can say the app will allow the registered user to pick a number which will provide an estimated time for them to visit a location. It'll allow them to pre-select the purpose of their visit, and it also allows them to see all the documents that they have to have with them, where they can check each document that they have, and it gives them an estimate on when it will be ready for them to pick up. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for listening to it. For more videos like this one, and interview guides, and interview questions and answers, please visit us at productmanagementexercises.com.